Hello and welcome to Sudocode. Today we have a very special guest with us. His name is Francesco and he is a Docker captain. But before we go any further, let me tell you that he also used to be a volleyball coach. Now, how did this happen? And that is why I have invited him on the channel to share his journey and story with you so that you can understand whenever you ask questions like, is it too late to get into software engineering? Is it too late to start learning computer science? I have done MCA, would I get a job? All your questions will be answered through this story where you can just learn that how easy it is to change the path to become a software engineer or to venture into IT industry or the tech industry, even though your background can be very different from a typical software engineering background where you just go to college, take a degree and just take a job. So let's talk to Francesco and find out about his amazing journey. Hey Francesco, welcome to the channel. I am very happy to have you here and our audience would like to know a little bit about you.
Hey Yogita, thank you so much for inviting me. For me, it's not normal to be a guest. Usually I'm the host, and it's Sunday morning, and I'm super happy to be here with you and share my journey. I'm Francesco, I'm from Rome, Italy, I'm 38. I've been into tech for about 5 or 6 years, and before that I was doing a total different job in a gym. So we will talk about this switch of career that I really enjoyed, to be honest. Yes.
See, I told you that this is an interesting story. So, Francesco, tell me about your journey after completing the high school or your higher secondary education. What was your bachelor's? How did your bachelor's look like, or what did you do just after graduating from the school?
Nice question. Yes, when after finishing high school, I was already doing this. I was already a volleyball coach because I started very early when I was 16. So during the high school, I was already a volleyball coach. So it has been a long journey, almost 20 years. And after high school, I was focused more on this sport part. I was training myself, but I've always liked math also in the high school. My mom is a math teacher. Also, my father is a physical teacher, and so this is probably why I also like to teach. And this is also connected with why I switched my career to tech. So after high school, I was focused more on just coaching and doing some entertaining stuff. So yes.
Okay, so when was the first time that you got exposed to computer science, and when was the first time that you came to know about computer science?
Nice, and this great question. So I've always loved the computers. I've also a Commodore 64, so I've always been used to play and also fix computers. But as a job, I never seen this as a job. Let me also share something. I also have a computer science degree because I started this when I was about 25. But I was a bit bored, so I really didn't like coding and programming. So basically I started a computer science degree because I loved math and other algorithms. So let's say the very boring theoretical stuff, but don't ask me why. But after a while, one day something happened. So if you want, we can keep going with that.
Yes, of course, please. What happened one day?
Yes. I just wanted to make this a little bit more exciting. So basically, I had like 6 or 7 exams left, and almost none of them they were about programming, so coding. So I was basically a computer science student who didn't like coding. So I was a bit confused, let's say. But I really loved to work in a gym and other stuff. So one day, during an exam, one of my professors says like, Francesco, you're not very good at coding. And that was true. So you'll never be a developer. So so basically, when someone says to me that I can't do something, my mind really gets triggered so much. So I still remember that I came back home and said, okay, so now I have just some exams left. I'm still working in a gym. By the way, I enjoyed that so much. But I decided that I wanted to learn coding for real. I made some websites in the past, but I wanted really to start coding. So I was like, okay, so now I have to start coding. By the way, just in parentheses, this is not totally not related to my social media presence, which now I'm happy with that. So it was 5 years ago. My social media presence started about 2 years ago. And so I decided, okay, so I want to code. How can I code? I had not Twitter, a lot of stuff. So I started to look like how, literally, I Googled like, how can I learn programming? So I see that there are many ways, and I ended up following some Unity 3D tutorials because I wanted to make this a little bit less boring, we can say. So I was focused on trying to learn coding while not get bored so much. And so I started some Unity 3D tutorials. By the way, the language is C#. And then after that, I started to work a bit on the backend stuff. And this is a long story short. This was about 2 or 3 years. And so I decided, okay, so I really want to step into tech. I started to give some programming exams at university, so it was a very good sensation. I was about 30, so not that young, we can say. And one day, I wanted to create a ladder for a game. And I was thinking, okay, so how can I deploy this somewhere on a server? I had not a good understanding on how the API worked and something like that. So one day I stepped into this thing called Docker. It was about 2016, something like that. And then I started to study that. And on a side note, I also want to say that I ended up in a full-time job in the meanwhile. So after completing the college and the university, I started also to work for the European Space Agency. So yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, so were you working at this, the university and the job? Were these things going in parallel while you were also coaching the volleyball team?
Exactly. Yeah, this has been kind of stressful. Let me also say that during my university, I've done a 6 month unpaid internship. So kind of stressful days because I was also working in the gym in the evening and 8 hours per day in this unpaid internship. So I remember that this was a kind of stressful period. And I ended up these 6 months, I think that I was burned out because I haven't coded for a year. This was in the past. And but then, yes, now let's say, so 2017, I started to work for the European Space Agency. But in the meanwhile, during the evenings, I was studying Docker all by myself. So just in private, in a dark room with a black hoodie, probably without using any social media. So I was really learning in private. And but I really enjoyed this. This was 2017. Yeah.
Okay, so anybody who wonders that how do people handle multiple things in life at a time. So here is another example. You can see that he was working a full-time job and he was coaching a volleyball team and he was learning Docker on the side, and he is so good at Docker that he actually ended up becoming a Docker captain. And now I would like to ask you, how did that happen? When did you decide that you want to be a Docker captain? And also I would like you to tell everybody that what actually a Docker captain means and how did you get to be there?
Yeah, before we do this, just let me say that I have this amazing Docker bottle, just for Docker captains. Sorry. Okay, just to be precise, Yogita, I started to work in the gym in 2016. So I stopped working there because I could not work for the European Space Agency also in a gym. So I stopped working in the gym in 2015. And after 2 years, I started to work in the European Space Agency. So let's keep going. Let's keep talking about Docker. I enjoyed this tech tool and platform since the beginning. I've watched many tutorials. I really deep dive into that. And in January 2020, I started being very active on social media. And I was still working for the European Space Agency. And then when the pandemic happened in March 2020, this was also a good timing because I had so much more time to dedicate to my social media, because I was doing 3 hours of commute every day. So basically I had another part-time job to learn and share my stuff on social media. And then I decided after a while to just focus on Docker content, videos, tips on Twitter, connecting with Docker people. I made an interview with other 2 Docker captains. I can explain what a Docker captain is in a while. And this is funny because in March 2021, I decided to quit my job to focus on creating content, working remotely, maybe work remotely with another company. So this was March 2021. Soon it will be 1 year. And I had this, I put this 5 years goal to become a Docker captain in 5 years. The funny thing is,
so you decided in 2016 or 17
this was 2021. In March 2021, I quit my job and I decided to become a Docker captain, because before that, I wasn't even thinking about that. It was too much for me. A Docker captain is an ambassador for Docker, so basically they talk about Docker all day long, and sometimes they also eat and sleep. And so I decided, okay, so let's put this 5 years goal. After 3 months, I received an email by Docker like, do you want us to talk to you about the Docker Captains program? I already knew what was about to happen. I remember that I was in a call when this happened. I was like jumping on my chair. And so I contacted them. And we decided that I was, let's say, good to become a Docker Captain. And basically what a Docker Captain is a volunteer position. When you basically talk about Docker, organize event. I've organized an event for Docker with about 1,000 people online in a live stream. So since that, we can say that my shyness before camera dropped. So yes, this is basically what Docker Captain does. It creates content, organize. I would love to be a speaker also in an official DockerCon, which probably will be next year. So I don't know if I've answered. You also get some very good swag, like a very good sweater and other stuff.
Okay, so if you think about it, he decided to become a Docker captain in next 5 years in March 2021, and it happened in less than a year. Like within 3 months, he got contacted for becoming a Docker captain. So that's how much you can say that we sometimes set goals for us, but we never know that how soon would we achieve those goals. So that's why sometimes people say dream big, and sometimes you can surprise yourself also, that you might not have thought about becoming a Docker captain so soon. It just happened so soon. Yeah. And also the kind of effort that went into learning about Docker, because obviously if someone is not good with Docker, the Docker team will not reach out to them for becoming a captain. So obviously he has put in a lot of hard work, and that's why he's here today sharing his journey. So anyone of you, if anyone of you are interested in Docker and learning about Docker, please go and follow him. He has a huge following on Twitter. He has a very nice YouTube channel and a good presence on Instagram as well. All his handles are shared in the description. But apart from that, let's also talk about his Twitter spaces a bit. Like, how do you handle your Twitter spaces, and what is your idea of sharing content over there?
Yeah, sure. By the way, I've also organized some Twitter space with the official Docker Twitter account, which has about 500,000 followers. So kind of exciting one, I can say. So about Twitter spaces, I think that they are a very powerful way to create some content, because you can focus, we can have multiple guests, usually have a lot of people joining. It's not as an interview like this, so we can do this, of course. I made a lot of videos. I think Twitter spaces are easier to set up. I see people are very interested into coming and listening to the voice. It's like I think it's like the third millennium radio, the Twitter space. It's like you can just listen to that. Even for the speakers, it's nice because, for example, now I'm super focused. I love making videos, by the way. Now I'm super focused. For example, when I make Twitter spaces, I can clean my kitchen, cleaning up my house, doing something else in the meanwhile. So it's nice because you can also do something else. This is from a content creator point of view. And also, yes, you just focus on a topic, you can raise your hand, you can have multiple guests. I made a live stream yesterday with 6 people, but I can say that I have some experience. If you have not so much experience as a host, it's not so easy, for example, to handle multiple guests in a live stream on YouTube. So I think Twitter Spaces are a great alternative. The best thing of Twitter Spaces is that as you said, I have some people following me on Twitter, and I'm sure that some of them, they follow me just because I'm recommended by Twitter. So they don't even know me. They say, okay, so Twitter recommends me Francesco, I follow him. If a person follows me because I've been on a Twitter space and I've shared my experience with my voice, that follower is 10 times worth for me, because they already know what I say, what I do. So I highly suggest to test Twitter Spaces. We have to do a Twitter Space together, Yogita.
Yeah, I think I am very resistant to be on different platforms, because I get anxiety in managing YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn as of now. But I think I have to break in on that platform also, and then we can have a Twitter Space together.
Yeah, I remember that you are doing also a master degree, right?
Right.
So after the master degree, we'll do this after the master degree. Yeah. I think it's better.
Yeah. Okay. So, Francesco, what would you like to tell the audience or the people who are just starting their coding journey, or who might feel that they're not good enough in coding and they struggle with this part? They think, as you shared, like your professor told you, you are not good at coding. They might also feel the same, where maybe their seniors are telling them the same thing, or their professors are telling them the same thing, and they're struggling with coding, that how do I become good at it? And since you have already gone through that harder path, what is the advice that you can give to these new aspiring engineers or people that they can utilize?
Thank you so much for this question, Yogita. This is usually the question that I make to my guests. So for this time now, I can try to give my own point of view, my own perception. The idea is that if you want to step into tech, the worst problem, I think, is that you really feel overwhelmed, because it's a world, it's a universe. You have too many things that you could specialize: front-end, back-end, how the API works. Now there is also the Web3 stuff, so it's even more confusing. So what I really suggest is to don't try to learn everything, because it is also my mistake. You can learn by my mistakes. Try to focus on really the fundamentals. Maybe I highly suggest to just try to learn one programming language, because once you focus on and understand the basics of programming with a programming language, then you can switch to someone else. I've also tried to learn, like JavaScript, Java, and Python at the same time. I highly suggest to don't do this. Of course, everybody has their choices. What I really suggest is to understand the concepts, how the web works. If you want to step into Web3, how Web3 works. Don't try to do everything in one day. I remember that sometimes I felt asleep on the keyboard. This is not good for your health. So think in the long run, because we always overestimate what we can do in one day and underestimate what we can do in 1 year. So we want to learn everything today. We want to learn JavaScript today. This is not possible. You have to divide this in days, in weeks, in months. So think that maybe it's better to stop, take a break, and then keep going tomorrow. And I know this because I make a lot of analogies with sports. If you go running, you will feel when you're exhausted, you have to stop. You can't run for 10 hours, but you can try to learn something for 10 hours. But the real thing is that after a while, your brain doesn't work as it was in the morning or in the very early hours. So, but we feel mentally exhausted and drained, but we could continue. So this is also dangerous. So take a break and then keep going without stopping for, let's say, I don't know, like I learn 2 days and then I stop for 2 weeks. You can use the same time distributed during the days. If you code 15 minutes per day, I think you can have greater results. This is especially true for people who are trying to switch career. You can't stop everything we are doing. Some of us are have family, children, a mortgage. So, I don't want to say take this as an hobby, because if you are the focus to switch career, maybe you have to have a different approach. But just try to put some minutes of coding and learning the programming and tech concepts inside your day without disrupting your whole day and routine and your job. Don't quit your job to learn programming. This is what I highly recommend. If you are not like 16 or 14, if you are a student, if you can have all your day. And so this is a different story. This is an advice especially related to people like me. I started into tech when I was about 30. No, more than 30. So I'm older than 30. So yes. So I hope if we can help Yogita, at least one person with this video, I will be super happy. Yeah.
No. I think, Francesco, we are going to help a lot of people. And look what he said. He started in tech after almost at 30, and I understand that there are people and kids who are starting to build apps when they are 12 or 14 or 16, but you don't have to get overwhelmed looking at those people and looking at all the tech. If you take it one day at a time, as he mentioned, and you don't worry about your age, just worry about your passion. If you want to do it, if you like to do it, you can start at any time, and it is doable if you try to achieve skills, if you try to get good at tech and coding, if you do it one day at a time and you try to put it in your routine, as just Francesco mentioned. And I also highly recommend that it is very easy to get overwhelmed. It is very easy to compare yourself with other people who are doing great things and feel sad, but just focus on your journey, focus on yourself, because everybody has a different path. I suppose, Francesco, when you were working at the gym, when you were being the captain of when you were coaching the team, you wouldn't have imagined that 10 years from now I will be Docker captain.
Absolutely not. It's something that really came after a while. I think it's more related to my social media presence, because I was just, as I said before, studying that. Just let me say something super fast that can help someone. I've been a volleyball coach and I've also taught math, physics and chemistry in high school for a period. And so I've always had this teaching DNA. As I said, both of my parents are teachers. So when I became a full stack developer, I was really missing this teaching part, this sharing my knowledge part. So for a while I said, okay, so maybe I'll never be a teacher anymore. I'll just, because you don't have to be a teacher if you want to be a full stack developer. But I was really missing that part. If you have a YouTube channel, you know maybe what I mean. So, and I was really afraid of all the social media. So when I started in January 2020, my Twitter account, and I've seen that using social media, I could share my knowledge again, I really felt so good. So this is why I also started becoming a content creator, sharing whatever I know and also what I learn. For example, now I'm learning Web3, I'm sharing what I'm learning. So I love teaching. I think teaching is a mission, and this is also why I think it's great. I think it's also related to becoming a Docker captain. It is related for sure, because if you just learn something and you just keep for yourself, nobody knows that you know maybe so many things. Yeah.
Right. And it is also like how all your strengths come together. Like you had teaching skills, and you acquired coding skills, and Docker was looking for people who can share that, and you have social media presence, and all the strengths came together, and here you are in your journey. So again, I would say being self-aware is very important, as Francesco mentioned that he was missing the teaching part. So just find out what you like to do and what you don't like to do, and try to do what you like doing more, and you will end up in a path where you will have success. Like, this is my belief.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I ended up also in your amazing YouTube channel, Yogita. I'm super happy about this. Super, super happy.
Not at all, not at all, Francesco. See, this was a story worth sharing. Although Sudocode is a tech channel, but apart from tech, it's very important for us to look at the inspiring stories and learn from the good things that others have done, so that we can utilize those lessons and fast pace our growth, so that as Francesco shared his mistakes or the hard path, the challenges. If you are already going through some challenges, it can be relieving for people to know that okay, other people also go through these challenges, and here is how you navigate those challenges and reach a point where you can feel accomplished and successful. So I would like to say, Francesco, thank you so much for taking the time on a Sunday. Again, it's an early morning for you, and sharing your journey and story with us. You can follow Francesco on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and everywhere. I have shared the links. Please go check out his channel. The kind of content he creates, it's super quality content and very good educational videos. Also, check out his Twitter profile as well if you're interested for Docker. And if you are also interested to become a Docker captain, then I would suggest please definitely follow him, talk to him. I'm sure he'll be very, very happy to share his knowledge with you. And after watching this video, if anyone becomes a Docker captain in next 2-3 years, then maybe we will bring that person on this platform and we can share your story with everyone. What do you think about that?
That would be really amazing. That would really literally blow my mind, because I never get used that you can really inspire people with your own journey. I'm also struggling a lot, learning some stuff every day. We're all students at the end of the day, but I really love to help people to maybe make a little bit less mistakes that I made. At least I try, and this will literally blow my mind. I would be super happy about this. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Yogita YouTube channel, of course.
Yes, please, that will be very helpful to us. And just to make this a little bit more interesting, we have shared so many interesting facts about Francesco throughout this video. So comment 3 things that you find interesting about him in the comments, and then we will see which comment wins, or what are the 3 most popular attractive facts about Francesco. Do share in comments whatever you have listened to in this video.
Nice. I'll check them all and I'll answer them all. Try.
Sure. Till then, take care. Thank you, everyone.